Do you remember this question from the last podcast? Yeah. The neat thing is, this is given the roots, you're asked to find what is a possible original equation, not is what is the exact original equation. You're probably saying, what do you mean by that, sir? Sir, what do you mean by that? Well, let's put the x-intercepts in. Check this out. If we go minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, there's our x-intercepts. But check this out. We can have all kinds of different graphs going through those 2 points. The graph could go nice and deep like this and go all the way around and up like this, right? Or maybe the graph is doing this and going shallow and going through here. Maybe the graph is going, oh my goodness, that way. There is no way to tell me what the exact original equation was. We can only find a possible original equation. So why? Because we don't have enough information. We only have those 2 roots. And look at that. You can put a ton of different graphs through those 2 roots. So what do? Well, simple. We're going to do this. Check this out. The problem with the last question is that it's possible, not the exact original. So how do you figure this out? You got to figure out, guess what? The A value. Why? Because look at going back. Look back at this. Look at all the different A values. That A value, of course, is going to be wide. So the A value is going to be small. This is an A value that's narrow. So that A value is going to be big. And for this black graph here, that A value, of course, is going to be negative something. We don't know what it is. So we need more information to do that. That's why I designed these 2 questions. Check out this first question right here. If you're working with the basic quadratic equation from the factored form, you have to remember there's the 2 factors that you're going to multiply together to give me that equation, but you also have to include that A value. What is that A value? Where are you going to get the information from that? Trust me on this. Watch this. Follow along. Look at this. Here's the first one. It says determine the quadratic equation for this guy. Okay, that's no problem. If we went out and we said, okay, there's my root. One of my roots is that x equals to minus 5. Then I have another root over here, and I say my x equals to 1. What do we do with those things? Same thing that you did in the last equation or the last question. Exactly the same thing. So you'll go over here and you'll say, okay, x equals to minus 5. You're going to do this. You're going to add 5 to both sides. And this is going to cancel out, giving you your x plus 5. Look at that. There's your first factor that equal to 0, right? Do the exact same thing for this one here. So you know that that is x equals to 1. Bring the 1 over by subtracting 1 for both sides. You get x minus 1 equals to 0. There's your 2 factors. Just like I stated in this statement up here, there are your 2 factors. The only problem is you need an A value. Well, how do you determine that A value? Well, you could do a couple things. In this particular one, I'm going to tell you right now, I want you to use the y-intercept. Huh? Okay, remember what the y-intercept is. The y-intercept looks right here. And the coordinates of that y-intercept, of course, are going to be 0, right? Negative 10. Remember, those values are a coordinate, making this an x and a y. Ah, you see where I'm going with this? Okay, so now bring up that factored form. You know that factored form is y equals to some A value here, right? X plus 5, you get it from this guy, x plus 5, and you get it from this guy, x minus 1. And we have to have enough information to determine that A value. Well, we do. Look what we have. Check this out. We have what the x and y values are. The y value is minus 10. The A you don't know. The x value is 0. So look how pretty this makes this. It makes it so easy to do now. See where I'm at? Okay, check this out. Watch what I'm going to do. Minus 10 equals to A. 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. Multiply these guys together. You get minus 10. Multiply them together. You get minus 5A. Simple. Divide by minus 5. Divide by minus 5. Cancels. Look at that. A is 2. Now you can put that back into here and determine the equation. So right now, in factored form, this equation would be 2, x plus 5, x minus 1. See what I'm doing? The next thing then is you can expand this. You can say, okay, I'm going to use FOIL to give me x squared minus x plus 5x minus 5. Don't forget, you still have the 2 up front, so this becomes x squared, right, plus 4x minus 5, and then all you have to do is distribute, 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 giving you y equals 2, and yes, it has to have a y equals 2 because it is an equation. So this is y equals to 2x squared plus 8x minus 10. That is the equation for this beautiful graph. Wow, lots of work, right? Not really. Quite simple. All you need is the intercepts, and in this case, I used a point, which is the y-intercept. So check out what I'm going to do for this next question. Look at this. You don't have to use the intercept because sometimes the intercept may not necessarily be a pretty number. You could actually here use any pretty point on the graph. This pretty point is minus 3, minus 5. Do you still use the intercepts? Yep. So write those intercepts out. Okay, hold on. Let me clean this guy up a little bit, and then we'll go from there. All right, here we go. So what are we going to do? The intercept here is x equals to minus 1. The intercept here is x equals to 2. Solve that just like you did. Add 1 to both sides, just like you did before. This is x plus 1 equals to 0. That is your factor, right, that you determine from either using PSA or whatever you did. Okay? Do the same thing for this. Subtract 2 from both sides. Look what you got. You got the other factor to be x minus 2 equals to 0. There's the other factor. Now, introduce this a value here. So y equals to the a, x plus 1, x minus 2. So we got to figure out the a, this guy right here. So we know which way it's opening. Because look at this. This guy's opening down, which tells you your a is going to be negative. Aha! So let's go with this. Okay, first things first, I'm going to use this point. Now, what is this point? Remember that that point actually works out to be your x value and your y value. Oh, okay, so let's put that in. The y value is minus 5. Your x value is minus 3, but you got a plus 1 here. Your other x value is, again, minus 3, minus 2, right? Combine these guys together, you're going to get minus 5 equals to a. This guy combined is minus 2. This guy is minus 5. Minus 2 times minus 5, of course, is 10. So you get 10 dot a. All you have to do now is divide by 10, divide by 10, and look what you get. You have a is negative 5 over 10, or negative 1/2. There's your a value. So now you can put that back into the equation here, this guy all the way back up here, right there, and get a very, very accurate equation. I'm going to leave it in factored form, so y equals to minus 1/2, which tells you, look at this, it is opening down, and it's actually opening fairly wide. Well, there you go. Then x plus 1, x minus 2, there's your equation, and this is very specific to this graph. Both equations were specific to their graphs, right? That's how you determine the exact original equation. Got it? Awesome.